I'm associated with some mentoring bodies where I mentor some students. So I ask them, what are you doing? So they say, yeah, I'm learning an AI tool. I said, yeah, you are learning AI tool, but are you learning prompt engineering? So they were blinking at me saying, what is prompt engineering? I said, as a student, if you don't learn prompt engineering now, we do not know what we have, okay? We do not know. And even if we know, we don't know how to use it for my benefit. We use it only because somebody else is also using it. So I think there are two kinds of career that you would like to choose. One is I need to be feeling that I am safe all the time in my life. Yeah, you join TCS, be a nice employee, join Infosys, be a nice employee. You can continue there as long as you are good boy, good girl, no problem. It's a safe area to work. But learning opportunities becomes limited for you because
Welcome back. We are continuing our conversation with Mr. Subramaniam, and we're going to talk about a very interesting career option that everybody wants to pursue, which is a career in IT. So, tell me, sir, how has this AI transformed the career path of young students today in the IT sector?
So I think I will need to give some context before I talk about how AI has transformed. And I think it's important to know that, without which it would become very superfluous understanding. As a job career in IT can be split into, I would say, two broad categories of working. One conventionally known as IT product companies. And it is important to understand that every IT company is not a IT product company. So for example, companies like Zoho is a product company. They are IT company and they are product company. Companies like TCS are more IT services company. And the important difference here is that these companies, which are product companies, they own their product. They have their own IP. The companies who are into IT service, they don't have a product. They are doing development for somebody else. So the job could be similar. Here also you are doing development, design. There also you are doing the same job. The difference is in terms of the mindset. In the product company, you are more attached to the product. You can contribute to the product. You can conceptualize. You can work from the scratch. At some point in time in your career, you can move from instruction driven to idea driven. Whereas in IT services company, your career by and large continues to be an instruction led by your customer. Your customer defines what you are supposed to be working on, you can work. Do you have a scope? Yeah, you do have a scope of some idea generation, some of those aspects of it, but then it's still limited. Now, let me add AI over here.
And before you talk about it, the reason I wanted to I first address AI was because there is this huge fear of AI replacing manpower today. And all the younger students who are coming into the, just starting their career path, definitely it's a looming fear.
True. So I think in either of these work segment that I spoke about, I don't think AI is going to replace them. In fact, AI is going to create more value over there. And that means the skill requirements are different. It doesn't mean AI is going to replace programmers. While there are fears, people say GitHub AI is now writing codes for you. Yeah, it is writing codes for you, but if you think IT job limits to writing code, then I think we are underestimating the job. Writing code is probably the starting point, but there are many more things on that. So a very crude example if I have to give for that, cutting vegetable is not the complete cookie. There is much more to it. And to me, coding is more like a cutting vegetable. But there are so many other things you need to do in a IT or IT service. So it's important for us to think how I am going to use AI in my learning. I know C++, but how do I complement this by learning AI methodologies, AI and ML both? I mean, today people talk about it together only. So one need to look at it and understand, learn those new skills along with whatever skills I have developed myself for that. One most important thing is that I have seen, I was talking to a fresher in a college. She just graduated, okay, known to me. So last year when she was in the pre-final year of her course, I asked her that, have you started using ChatGPT? So obviously she started giving me excuse. So he said, no, I don't have subscription. I said, you don't need subscription. For the quantum of need that you will have at a college level, you don't need subscription. You can do it. That much free of cost is available to you. So he said, no, I tried doing it, but it is not giving me right things. I said, stop giving excuses, okay? You need to use what is available to you to learn the methodologies, learn the techniques behind it. So I always ask this to many students who say, I'm taking a course on AI, and when I mentor some of the students. So I'm associated with some mentoring bodies where I mentor some students. So I ask them, what are you doing? So they say, yeah, I'm learning an AI tool. I said, yeah, you are learning AI tool, but are you learning prompt engineering? So they were blinking at me saying, what is prompt engineering? I said, as a student, if you don't learn prompt engineering now, your AI skills, doesn't matter how much certificate you take, is not going to get sharpened, okay? Now, does these programs cost me? Not at all. You have plenty of it available free of cost. We just don't know how to use them. We just don't know how to access them. So in my view, AI is not going to lead a loss of job from that perspective, but AI will require you to sharpen your skill, learn newer tools, new methodologies, and also learn, I will qualify this learning by not hanging certificates around you. I have taken a certificate from Microsoft on this, has no meaning to it at all. How you have used it? Have you used it for your work? So for example, I can just give you an example for a student and they can experiment it. It doesn't going to cost them anything. All of them have a Gmail account, right? All of them are preparing for their exams. Just they can try using Google Notebook LM. How effectively it will work them in preparing for their exam, they can test it out. You can get certificate in Google Notebook LM. But that certificate of no use, if you have not used it for your own purpose, make your own study productive. So in Google Notebook LM, they can put all their notebooks, files, books, various website links, and get into a question answer mode. In fact, you can even ask Google Notebook to prepare a question paper for you to practice. And Google Notebook will do all those things for you.
That's interesting. I
Yeah,
myself have never
and for no money. All you need is a Gmail account, which I would be surprised if any student doesn't have a Gmail account today.
So that's really very interesting. I've not even heard of this until you mentioned. So another thing I wanted to ask you about is college students, what looking for a career in IT. What are the platforms they can go and get really good short courses to upskill before they start applying for a job itself? And to add to this, you just spoke about certification, right? I see a lot of interns whom I meet, they do a lot of certification courses, but they don't showcase it on LinkedIn. And half the jobs I see are posted on LinkedIn, which is so easily accessible, but still people don't apply for it and they keep waiting for somebody to come to the college and give them a job.
Right.
So it's like very sad to see it.
It is. And I will tell you, one thing common in both your questions is we do not know what we have, okay? We do not know. And even if we know, we don't know how to use it for my benefit. We use it only because somebody else is also using it. So let me first address the first part where you asked about the where to learn, where to get certificates and things like that. First of all, keep the learning and certificate separate because you can always get certificate. It's not a big deal. From a learning perspective, I have always found a couple of sites which are excellent but very underutilized. MIT has an open university. I'm talking about Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They have an open university where they have courses available with assessment free of cost online available. Okay, you just do some quick search, you will get to know of it. Today, many of the IIT professors have, under IIT itself in India, many of the engineering courses, subjects, including IT and etc., are available free of cost for them to attend and watch and learn.
Free of cost.
Free of cost. The problem is we don't value when something is available free of cost to you. And these are world's premium institute, MIT and IIT is what I am talking about. The next category of places where you can learn courses, places like Udemy, Coursera, you have almost all the certificates and programs available. You forget certificate for a moment. In majority of the programs in Udemy and Coursera, you are allowed to go through the entire course without paying a single pi. Money only allows you to participate in the assessment and certificate. So for example, you went through a course on, I'm just giving an example, you course on prompt engineering. You go through the entire course, your learning will happen. You can practice on your own. A free course, what it doesn't allow you to do is that they have assessment questions, so you answer, somebody evaluate and gives you the feedback. That you will not get free of cost. You want a certificate on that, you won't get it free of cost. You'll have to pay for it. And I have seen majority of the courses, even in places like Udemy or Coursera, are sub 1,000. Okay, which is not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, in a month, you'll end up spending that 1,000 rupees even by just going to a party and in a hotel, have a dinner.
Just a movie and
Just a
one
movie
popcorn,
today
it's done.
is done, right? And how much does it cost? It costs nothing. So I think the most important thing here is willingness to learn and willingness to invest the time and effort to learn.
So, the IT industry, one of the things that fascinates students the most is that I'm going to go abroad. Is that a reality today? Is the job market actually ready to give those kind of opportunities to students today?
I would categorize into two parts there. One is starting a job abroad is different from opportunity to go abroad. Okay, starting a job abroad, you forget it. Unless you are studying there, you are not going to get a job there as a fresher. After experience, you getting a job is a different story altogether. Opportunity to go abroad was very prominent till recently. I mean, if you look at the IT services industry, which is called as on-site opportunities. Okay. I think that opportunity has diminished in almost all segments of the business. There's some will still exist, but I don't think one should have craze for that, because many times this opportunity of this on-site doesn't serve anything beyond a tag for you that you worked in US for 3 months or 6 months and things like that, which I don't think any new employer is very, what is called, earlier it was a big craze. Oh, you have worked in US, so let me hire you. I don't think people are crazy about it anymore. Two, even customers have become smarter on this now. Because with one thing that COVID has taught all of us, that we can do a lot of things remote. So even customers are becoming smarter nowadays. They are saying, okay, let's have a Zoom call. I mean, you don't need to travel and come all over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think that should be the criteria for somebody to be joining an organization. Your criteria for joining an organization should be more from the perspective of that, does this organization provides you two opportunities? One, learn new things in that business, in that operations or in that technology where you are joining. Two, it provides you an opportunity to use the skills that you already have. I think if either of it is not happening, you know day one you are at the wrong place, or you have chosen a job which is not actually good for you. But having said this, you also need to have some patience, because you need to understand that when you join an organization, you are new to the organization. They need to understand what skill you have. And unfortunately, many of us, and particularly students, when they come for the job, their ability to showcase their skill is very poor. So for example, I'll just give you an example here. When I was interviewing a candidate for a company where they were doing a lot of work on PowerPoint slide. I don't know if you are aware of it. I mean, PowerPoint slide is a big business. So I was asking them about macros and things like that on PowerPoint. And these are not pure IT business, but they are deployment of IT skill in a work that you do, right? And there is always some element of programming involved in a macro form of writing and things like that. Now they say, yeah, I have read about this, I have heard about this. He's just going all over the places, right? And please understand, even if you have that certification with you, and if you are not able to explain me how will you deploy that knowledge into this particular job that I am telling you, how do you think I am going to be convinced that yes, you are learning? So I think it is very important for students to know is that memorizing what they have learned or memorizing what got them certificate can possibly give them a door into the organization. For example, if I am hiring 200 people in my organization, you might pass through that gate because you came in through interview in a flying color, but you won't survive. But for you to survive and grow, you need to be able to also demonstrate to me that you are deploying these learning skills, right? So you learn, and I have a very simple definition of differentiating between learning and going through certificate and program. From the learn, if you remove the L board, what is L board? L, right? From the learn, if you remove L, what is left? Earn. So will this learning enables you to earn? If not, that learning is of where use? No use at all. Neither to you nor to the organization. So you learn anything, any course that you do, can you deploy it? Can you see how you do it? So, and I will tell you what I have started using it on some of the students whom I am mentoring. So they attend various programs. So they keep updating me that, sir, I have read this book this week. I have read this article. So they update me. So I said, okay, beautiful. You have read. I want you to summarize it in 50 words on what you have learnt. I don't want what was there in that. I want to know what you have learned. First 10 such statements they struggled. But today they are writing it to me on what they have learnt. How do they think it would be useful for them? Okay. And 2 of them, twice a month, they are posting it on LinkedIn on what they have learned.
That's amazing. And that's
Right?
so necessary. Students really need to start using
Exactly.
LinkedIn.
Exactly. Since you are talking about LinkedIn, I think people need to understand, don't use LinkedIn just for the sake of scrolling. I'm saying, what is interestingly, what is the hesitation that students have in posting in LinkedIn? What if their stuff is wrong? What if their stuff is stupid? I said, don't worry. There are so many stupid things already in the internet. You don't worry about it. No one is going to pay attention to it. The challenge that students face today, and this is the viral fever of social media that students are also suffering from, is that their understanding of social media is very limited. It is limited to number of connects you have, limited to number of likes you have, number of follows you have. That is nothing. The first and foremost thing, you need to see social media as a forum of expressing yourself. Don't worry about what people are commenting. People will comment whether you write great. People comment even for great authors who write something on the LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, true.
So there's nothing right or wrong about it. I need to learn how to express it. So can I start articulating it? My first post will have very poor English. I mean, even my own post, if I open my post which I wrote it 10 years back or 7 years back, I will laugh at it even today, right? So, but doesn't matter. We need to start doing that. The second thing which I have seen, and in fact, which I told to one of the students which I was interacting with, they had a LinkedIn profile. Interestingly, many students have started making their LinkedIn profile. But unfortunately, their LinkedIn profile will not have photo. Their LinkedIn profile will have their name with all small letters, right? Now, what are you communicating by that profile to me? That you are not caring about yourself. You are not even spelling your name the way you would be proud of. Would you like me to write your name all small letters? You won't. So why are you writing that way? I think students will need to understand how to use platforms like LinkedIn to start articulating and expressing themselves. You don't need to just talk about the certificate that you have acquired in the LinkedIn. You can also talk about what you have learned, the skills that you have acquired. Now, if I don't know if you have noticed, LinkedIn has 2 separate sections. One is for certifications, another is for skills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The 2 are separate. Why they are separate? Because everyone recognizes, and industry also recognize, that for every skill for you to showcase, you don't need to have certificate. I will give you another classic example in the business and industry that happens, and students also do that. They acquire Six Sigma certificate. Okay, they say, I'm a green belt Six Sigma, I'm a black belt Six Sigma, I'm a yellow belt Six Sigma, right? And the certificate, what they have, does not give them anything. Fundamental questions they will fail. Why? Because they have not learned. They have acquired certificate. Today, certificates are available to you. You pay money, you get certificate. I can guarantee you, tell me on what area you want certificate, I will tell you a source where you will get certificate without doing any study. But what is the use of that? And that is why LinkedIn focuses on the skills that you have learned. And you talk about that. People will see it then.
So another interesting topic you just touched upon was, the company providing you the opportunity to learn. There is a craze about getting into jobs into these large companies like Infosys or TCS, whereas the reality is that mid-sized companies in India actually provide the largest number of employment, and there's a huge fear around joining startups also today. What is your take on that and your advice to students?
So I think there are 2 kinds of career that you would like to choose. One is I need to be feeling that I am safe all the time in my life. Yeah, you join TCS, be a nice employee, join Infosys, be a nice employee, do studios, be a good boy, good girl. You can continue there as long as you are good boy, good girl, no problem. It's a safe area to work, no doubt about it. But learning opportunities becomes limited for you because in a large organization, when you go, you are a developer. I mean, typically you will start that way, that you are a developer in a particular technology, in a particular domain, right? So you start your career there. Now you do development, and after some time, people will pay attention to you. You will become a senior developer. Then also you are doing developer, and that is how your career will move. The other side is you join a company which is possibly you don't feel safe because they are small, they are just startup, which is typically startup industry. Join there. So you join there on paper as a developer, but the reality is you will end up doing almost everything over there. You have opportunity to do everything over there. Now, if you are an opportunist and willing to take that stretch and willing to do everything that is available there, in fact, I will tell you it's a gold mine because you will become a super learner and superpower in a much shorter time than what you would do in a large organization. So I can share this with my own personal experience, though this is an experience from a manufacturing company, but in principle that is applicable even in these startups and things like that. So when I started my career as a shift engineer in a large organization, which was then called Bhadrachalam Paperboards, which is now ITC Limited. It was ITC only, name change kind of thing. I was a shift engineer in a particular boiler section. I knew it that as long as I am working here, I can possibly become a super dada of boiler, but difficult to grow beyond that in this organization. Or even if I grow, it will take very long period. So from there I moved. I came to Hyderabad and started working with another company, which was also a big name, big company of a different size and scale altogether, which was, the company doesn't exist anymore. It's called Bakelite Hylam. So when I worked there, I had a senior colleague of mine who used to work with me. I still remember him so clearly on what he told me. So I used to work on it. So he will come and tell me, PGS, many people used to call me PGS then. So he said, PGS, you are in an organization where if you decide to dig any ground in this place, you will only get gold, nothing less than gold. But you will have to bend your finger, dig the ground and get the soil out, right? Now, there was a lot of meaning to that statement. Bending finger means I need to take effort. I need to dig. That means I need to work on it. I need to go deeper. I can't be just shallow and say I am seeing only soil here, right? So you'll have to go deeper. And if I do that, I get gold. And I can vouch for it. I stayed in that company only for 3 years. But the amount of learning that I had in those 3 years was phenomenal, right? And just because I was able to go and do that, dig deeper in whatever area I worked, I think is helping me even today. So same thing happens even in these industry and spaces, whether it is a startup or a big. In a big organization, your ability to dig is small because you won't be even exposed to that room, right? Whereas in a startup, if you show interest, people will be very happy to assign tasks to you. So you learn, you do things. So you have this opportunity. At the same time, people have a belief that safety means organization should exist forever. That is not safety. That's a wrong meaning of safety. The real meaning of safety is how you have equipped to stand all weather. That is the real meaning of safety. I'm saying you join a company, startup, say XYZ. You did all these things what I explained now, built your skills, understood very well. For some reason, XYZ closes down. There could be many reasons. Let's say it closes down. Company may not be safe, but you are still safe because the moment you showcase that you have learned so many things, you are a hot cake in the market already, right? I have myself interviewed and selected such people who were from the smaller entities, but someone who was a kind of all over the places, learned a lot of skills. When I say all over the places, I am not talking about jack of all trades. I am talking about someone who is a smart, who has learned it, deployed it, used it, and willing to use it. See, one of the most important thing, at least today's employers would like to see in anyone, is willingness to learn. You believe it or not, I have rejected technically qualified people from large, big name. I won't name those brands here because it won't be fair. But I have hired for the same role from a smaller unknown brands just because of the learning skills, learning ability. Because the large brands sometimes also creates a lot of comfort to you. You stop learning. Smaller brand keeps you learning mode always. One example that I'm recollecting right now, one of the biggest problem the fishery industry had earlier was by the time the fishing was done on the ocean and brought to the shore, it was already stale, right? Because it takes almost 2 days from the center of the ocean to come here. I'm talking about large shipping halls. So it's already stale. So one guy who came up with an idea in Japanese shipping hall, he introduced one small shark into the tank there. What does the shark does to small fishes?
Eats him.
Is them. So fear is there,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that fear keeps them active, moving around, And as long as you are active, you are fresh. Right? I'm saying these industries, new industries, okay, if you are fear, you have a fear that they will close down, use that fear to learn new skills and become sharper and remain fresh. So I think people need to just use the opportunities that is available to them so that they can do great jobs.
Interesting, sir. Sir, thank you so much. I'm sure there'll be a lot of students watching this. And, at the end of this, in the description of this episode, I'm going to share your contact so that students who would like to use your knowledge to enhance their skills and possibly career options would be able to reach out to you. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
Pleasure. Thank you.